We're going already. Woohoo! We'll hang about for a moment, see if anyone joins us. You never know, we might just be talking to ourselves for tonight. I dare say there'll be one or two people drop in though. I'm going to take this quiet moment. I'm going to take advantage of it and actually try and drink my tea before it goes cold. How are we, chaps?
Good, yeah.
Good. Have you been up to much, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, other than just sort of life, I been playing the Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Yes.
Not the Telltale one, the one by, I think it's Eidos or something like that. I can't remember the name of the company. But you know what? I think it's actually shockingly like good for what it's like. It's a single player, action game. Like there's no fluff. It's got a story and that's it. There's no open world elements. It's just like, but it's really sharply written. The combat is like not incredible, but like fun. I think it's just nice. I haven't had in a long time. Just like a simple, I haven't finished it yet, but like a simple 12-hour like long game that's like just a solid, 8 out of 10. Probably will only play it once, but just a solid good time. I think because it came after the Avengers live service game, that kind of put a sour taste in people's mouths, so nobody played it. But it's actually really good, surprisingly.
I played it Christmas. I got it for Christmas the year it came out. I really enjoyed it. It was so fun. It was silly and it was stupid and it was surprisingly, like you said, really well written.
Well, I was bracing myself for some pretty cringe-worthy writing, but I was actually like genuinely surprised by how competently it was written. And it's got like the movies, it's got like an 80s soundtrack, and I was very every time your like special meter fills, you do this thing like where you huddle together and it starts blasting like 80s music, which is very, very fun. So that sounds awesome. It's a shockingly good time for what it is.
Really
I definitely
would recommend.
I recommend it. I mean, I got it for £7 on a sale. So yeah, John, if you ever see it for dirt cheap, it's a really quick and very entertaining game. I highly recommend anyone sort of try out.
Agreed.
Excellent. We have some people arrived in the chat. Good evening, WV. Good evening, Kisra. Good evening, Emily, who says, that's just great. You guys go live just as the game installs. Yes, Emily is installing a game on the PS5, and it's called Escape. No. I can't remember what it's called. I should know. I literally clicked the button to download it. Anyway, you can go play that. It's fine. The streams are available on demand. And if I talk really loud, you'll be able to hear me from downstairs anyway. Garbage Pail Kid. Hi, gang. I hope you're all hunky-dory. I'm hunky-dory myself. Thank you very much for asking, Garbage Pail Kid. I hope you are hunky-dory too. Kisra is just Dory. Okay. John and Mike, your hairline matches. This is it. We're all starting to go towards this period, aren't we? So yes, the highlight of my week was that I had a haircut. So it's going backwards further and further. And we're not quite into Jack's territory just yet, though. Escape from Ever After is what Emily's playing. Awesome. I have to say though, being more aerodynamic is much better for when I'm playing VR. For when I'm doing my racing, much more comfortable. Other exciting news this week. I've got a new tiny little microphone that I'm not actually using right now, but this is awesome. And I've also got myself a fancy Stream Deck now with some buttons so I can do clips and stuff. So this will help us with our content creation because we'll be able to save some highlights, which will make life a little bit easier for editing and bits and pieces. So a little bit better for Mike and Jack. Anyway, hello, welcome to the OLL show. This is episode 13 of OLL 2.0, and we are going to be talking tonight about games that revolutionised the games industry. Games that changed the world, of which I'm sure there are many. So, chat, if you would like to suggest anything, feel free to list a few things down and we shall refer back to you shortly. And if you have any suggestions, we can talk about any games that you think might be games that have revolutionised the games industry or indeed may have just changed your life on an individual basis. So shall we kick off? Does anyone have anything that they would like to put forward and raise to the pedestal as a supposed game that has changed the world and or revolutionised the industry? Any thoughts? Who wants to go first?
me.
Go on then, Jack. What you got for us?
The one that sprung to mind when I suggested this talking point.
Batman Arkham Asylum.
Oh, no. Go on.
Revolutionised combat.
No.
Revolutionised superhero video games.
The reason being, like, before Fortnite, there wasn't a battle pass in gaming. There wasn't as many microtransactions. There wasn't, seasonal models for games.
We're trying to be positive, Jack. This is the positive section. We can't talk about Fortnite.
No, but hey, it's a fun game. Shush. But what I'm saying is, as a game, it fundamentally changed, I'd argue, the entire gaming sphere with the way its model what is still to this day. I know I used to talk about Destiny a lot, but Destiny even changed after Fortnite came out. Before Fortnite came out, they didn't have seasons in Destiny. Now they do. Same with, I think FIFA doubled down on microtransactions. Look at EA with Battlefront 2. I mean, microtransactions went boom. Like, that game it got banned. So I think, arguably, Fortnite has put a huge impact on the gaming sphere, and it still does now. Because I watched a video about Ready Player One, the decent Spielberg movie, but not so decent book.
Okay.
And Fortnite is, I guess, the modern equivalent to that, if you think about it.
I agree, Jack. I don't like to agree, but yes, I would say Fortnite has probably been the most revolutionary game in recent years.
Yes.
Because it has taken over, for good and bad reasons. I don't think, from my perspective as an older player, I don't think it's moved the industry forward or made it better. But because I think it's cannibalized so many other genres and brands within it. But at the same time, its platform has allowed a lot of other brands to promote themselves, not just from movies or old TV shows and franchises and stuff. But what it's done as a game, from where it started as a simple shooter, and then it became the PvP shooter, and then it was massively multiplayer shooter, and now it's just got creative worlds and all that kind of stuff. Pretty much every genre you can think of is now pretty much represented somehow in Fortnite. And Fortnite is now a platform where movies will go to advertise, through their seasonal packs and DLC and that kind of stuff. It's made microtransactions. It's normalized microtransactions for children and for young people, I should say. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, but with the way the economy is and the world is and all that kind of stuff, it's obviously the way forward, because it's an existing platform that other games latch onto now, rather than it just being its own entity, So yeah, I would absolutely agree. Fortnite is absolutely something that has changed the world, but I don't like it. I suppose actually, the thing with Fortnite. Sorry, Mike, I'll come to you in a sec. The thing with Fortnite though is OLL benefited quite a lot from Fortnite, from the cafe. When we had the cafe business and we would do kids parties, and it would just be like Fortnite parties, all weekend, every weekend. So I can't really complain too much about it, because at the end of the day, it brought a lot of people to our little business, which was good. So I don't mind that at all. And we got on the ladder for official tournaments and all that kind of stuff, and that's all quite nice. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that I don't have to follow it as much as I do now. So, Mike, have you got something else? Have you got a game that I might relate to a bit more than Fortnite, perhaps?
I have got a good one, but whilst we're on the topic of Fortnite, I do want to just say that Fortnite did. I'd say there's two things I can think of in particular that Fortnite did that I think has actually made the industry worse. I know we're trying to be positive first, but Jack brought up a bad game. One thing it did for the worse, I think, is the battle pass system, which every game has adopted. The idea of like, oh, you have to play this game every single day of the week to get a certain, or you can pay extra and get through the battle pass quicker. I think that is something that has kind of made multiplayer games worse. And I know I completely understand what you're saying, John, about the way that they've handled like collaborations and stuff. I kind of hate how it's affected other franchises though. Like Call of Duty was like there was a time where Call of Duty was like the kind of, I guess, cool game to play at the time, you know, during like Black Ops and World of War and Modern Warfare and all that sort of stuff. And now you play as Snoop Dogg and Nicki Minaj. Like, what the hell is this franchise? Like, it's become like it's Fortnite. The Fortnite effect has like made other franchises worse because they've completely shed their identity to have.
They've had to adapt to the same business model, haven't they? Give us a fresh.
You guys know of a YouTuber called the Russian Badger?
Dude, if he plays Fortnite, there's no way I've heard of this YouTuber.
No.
Ah, Mini Mike!
Yeah,
Mini Mike!
What are you doing here? You're not allowed on stream.
Hi, Miles.
Oh, what are you doing in my room?
Oh, he's like you, isn't he? He's literally a spitting image of you.
He's got my head in you, Mike.
Can't take him. No, I know. Well, that was a choice, to be fair. I'm not balding yet. My dad lost his hair at 19, so I'm outranking him. But anyway, so yeah, I want to see a game. So I've been playing through the Time Splitter series recently, and there's a very stark difference between Time Splitters 2 and Future Perfect. Now, in Time Splitters 2, the way the gameplay works is, so it's going to be hard to explain, but like when you aim, the reticle kind of goes all around like when you're aiming, whereas like when you go to Time Splitters Future Perfect, it stays, and then when you move the camera, it kind of always stays on the center of the screen. I know it's going to be hard to explain unless you've played stuff like going from like GoldenEye to like you know, more modern games. But I think the game, I'm sure there's like a specific example of a game that made that sort of way the gameplay changes. But the one that sticks out to me is, and I'm sure John will agree with this, the first Halo. Now, if you're talking about games that revolution, I think there's many, when you're talking about first-person shooters, I feel like if there's like a Mount Rushmore of like games that like first-person shooters that revolutionized gaming, I think the first Doom is definitely on there.
Yeah.
I definitely think that Halo Combat Evolved is also on there because it's, in terms of the impact it's had on multiplayer games, in terms of the impact it's had on first-person shooters and how a story is told in a first-person shooter, I think it's unparalleled. I don't love Halo Combat Evolved as much as a lot of other people because I didn't grow up with it, but I can still go back. It's going back to it and playing other games that came out around the same time. You feel like the games around it feel a bit outdated, but there's something about Halo Combat Evolved that still feels, you know, graphics aside, still feels like a modern first-person shooter. So to me, that's kind of like, I mean, in my eyes, like the first.
It was the first.
Shooter,
I mean, whether it was the first or not, I'm not sure. It may well have been, but it was certainly the one that popularized twin-stick first-person shooters on console. But yes, of course, you can say, as WV says, Doom, GoldenEye, of course, as well. A couple of years before that, but yeah, Halo was well ahead of its time. And talking about how it changes the industry, not just the game itself in terms of what it did, but if you think, if we didn't have Halo, would the launch of the Xbox brand have been as strong as it was in 2001 without Halo? As much as I love Project Gotham and stuff like that,
it is Xbox. There's a reason for it. Like,
if it wasn't for that game, Xbox probably wouldn't be. I mean, to be fair, they've gone to shit in the last couple of years, but
well, look at the NES.
They wouldn't be anywhere close to where they are.
The NES launched with Mario. You know, like you can't imagine the NES without Mario.
That was going to be my game that I was going to suggest in a sec.
Yeah, I mean, you go for it, John. If you got a think piece about it.
No, you're right. Well, I was just thinking because obviously being old, I'm thinking back to the inception of video games, and again, it's not necessarily the first, but the games that popularise it or the games that change things. Obviously, Pong for sure has to be up there, which would have been one of the first, if not the first, sort of mass-produced, consumed games. And then you've got the Atari 2600. So you've got things like, in fact, I'm now just trying to think what was actually good on the Atari 2600. Defender. There was probably a few other games on there, but that was before my time. But yeah, you've obviously got Tetris from the late 80s, Super Mario Bros. In 85, and then Mario World probably didn't change the world, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Mario World just was a very good game, wasn't it, and helped Nintendo solidify their position. I would say Sonic the Hedgehog would probably be up there for what he's done for the industry.
What you talk about Super Nintendo platformers, I'd say a Super Nintendo platformer that actually revolutionised, and you might disagree, John, but hear me out. Donkey Kong Country. Now, I know if you think about the way the graphics, so for those who don't know, the way they made the graphics for Donkey Kong Country was they scanned 3D models and then like converted them to pixels. Now, in terms of like you know, it has its charm, but like at the time, that was like the reason to get a Super Nintendo over the Mega Drive, because of how much that looked at the time like a graphical leap. Obviously, it was a lot of trickery, like I said, like converting a 3D model into sprites, but it's stuff like that that eventually led to the sort of stuff you saw in a Nintendo 64. It was. I mean, there was a bundle of Mario games. And the one that was had top billing was Donkey Kong Country, because there was a time where it was as big as a lot of the Mario games that had also released on the Super Nintendo. Like I said, that was a huge graphical leap for
it was the ultimate in what they could do with 2D games at the time. But obviously it was developed alongside the birth of, you know, the 3D consoles as well, of course. Because Donkey Kong came out, 1994, which was actually the same year as the PS1 came out in Japan. So it was the cutting edge of what could be done with sprites at the time. And that method certainly carried forward into a lot of 2D games going forward after that. Because everyone was doing 3D, and the only 2D games that were successful tended to be, I'm going to say, things like the fighting games like Mortal Kombat that stayed with that kind of effect. Let's check in and see what suggestions chat have got. Emily likes the fact that I'm looking aerodynamic. Very good. WV, yes, I did get the Stream Deck sorted. Excellent. Emily wants to know who the lady is on button 5. It's the lady from Super Monaco GP. Garbage Pail Kid has just finished the DLC for Indiana Jones Circle of Truth, not Stick of Truth, and loved it. But it filled that Uncharted and Tomb Raider hole. See, I was going to put Tomb Raider down as one of my games, so we're going to get to that in a minute. Kizron says Final Fantasy VII. I've never heard of that. Tetris, excellent. Leisure Suit Larry, Garbage Pail Kid. Leisure Suit Larry, I wouldn't say that it changed the world. I mean, it was an interesting game at the time.
It changed his world, all right. Don't take that away from him.
Isn't it a bit, explicit?
I think the idea of the game is to successfully navigate a relationship, shall we say. Minecraft is a very good suggestion, of course.
That is.
Garbage Pail Kid, I think they just want to watch the world burn. If we can't have Leisure Suit Larry, I would nominate Bubsy. Oh my god, no. I'm not having Bubsy. That was a terrible, terrible game. The first Bubsy game, it was just a colourful platformer. It had good graphics. I think it was like Mega Drive and SNES one at the first one. There's a fourth one on the way. Bubsy's. I can't put Bubsy on the list. I'm so sorry. Emily has a good one. Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training. No, seriously. Brain Training, it was launch title for the DS, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it really put Nintendo back on the map, even if they needed to be, with handheld gaming. Shot them to the top of the market, didn't it? And
it hit a new audience, because the Brain Training stuff was like, it was for the like they had like burgundy like DS's for like old people.
Yes, they did.
It was hitting like a new market. Like DS was one of those things that didn't just take over gaming, but it also like found a new audience. Like when I got my 3DS, I gave my DS to my nan because she wanted to play stuff like Brain Training and stuff like that. So like, course, you can't deny that it had an impact on the DS.
Absolutely,
and the Wii at the same time.
That would have I was just going to say the Wii. Yeah, Wii Sports has to be one of those.
Nintendo had a moment where they didn't just get the gaming fans; they got the entire world, which you know can't be, you can't be a mistake.
Wii Sports definitely has to be up there. Just Dance. Did it change the world? I don't know. I mean, if Just Dance changed the
Jack's world, all right. He can move.
Because every year on Boxing Day, for years, we'd play Just Dance in a competition.
Everyone made fun of Jack's dancing skills until that game came out, and now nobody shuts up about it.
He's bought it every year. He's the only person still buying Just Dance games to this day.
Just Dance 20 on the Wii, yeah.
Do they still make it? Do they still make Just Dance? I think they do, surely.
Yeah, they do, yeah. They released it. I think it was 2020, I think. 2020, I think they released on the Wii, which is outrageous.
Jesus Christ. That's awful.
When the Wii's
two consoles ago. Doom obviously has been mentioned. GoldenEye's been mentioned. Pokemon, of course. Yes. I mean, Pokemon. Yeah. I don't think Pokemon did anything particularly new in terms of game mechanics, did it? It was just a very well made RPG.
I think it was.
I would argue.
I suppose they had the battling side of it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go on in.
It was the first franchise that truly mastered brand synergy. If you think about it, because it had the cards, it had the anime, it had all the merchandise, and everyone on the schoolyard was playing it, trading Pokemon back and forth. Like I think, in like a bigger sense, it did have that kind of impact. As far as JRPGs are concerned, I wouldn't say it was groundbreaking. I mean, everyone praises that for its monster catching mechanic, but the first game I know that had a monster catching mechanic was actually Dragon Quest V, I think. Which one of my nitpicks, like, one thing that irritates me is every time I see a Final Fantasy video, someone goes, "Oh, JRPGs weren't a big thing, and then Final Fantasy came out and it revolutionized the gaming industry." I'm like, do you not know that like the first JRPG was Dragon Quest, and it's so big in Japan. Not only do they have a Dragon Quest theme park,
it's bigger than Final Fantasy, isn't it?
They had a moment where when Dragon Quest 3 came out, people were skipping work. There was a mass thing of like, they've actually had to move the release date of Dragon Quest to a different day on the week. And this is 100% true, because so many people were literally calling in sick for their jobs just to line up and buy Dragon Quest. Like it's one of those games that people I don't think give enough credit. But you would not have JRPGs if it wasn't for Dragon Quest. Like I said, it's astronomically huge in Japan. Even, like you say, even bigger than Final Fantasy. I think it's now getting recognition in the West, especially like 11 was really popular, but it's definitely worth pointing out.
Cheney's dropped into the chat, and Cheney would like to submit Fahrenheit as a game that changed the world. Fahrenheit was a very good game. I don't think it changed the world. It certainly how can I say this in a way that's not too impolite to Cheney? Sorry. I mean, it's a great game. I love it. It did QTEs.
It changed Cheney's world, right?
It did
Cheney's world.
QTEs, it did very well. Advanced kind of what Shenmue had done QTE-wise, made it part of the story. The way the story was implemented into the gameplay was very, very good. I'm going to say it didn't change the world, but it was probably one of the best games of its era. There we go. Jack, anything you would like to put forward? If not, I've got a whole list of stuff. Well, it's 2 or 3.
One of them was mentioned, before I actually mentioned my first one.
Go on.
Obviously, the Arkham games, because of the free flow combat, and one animator spending 365 days animating a cape. You got to think, like, there was games that had fighting mechanics in, but so many games copied Arkham's free flow. I remember playing. Before I played the Arkham games, I think I played the Amazing Spider-Man movie games, like the first one. That had the Arkham style combat in it.
We got the Middle-earth games as well, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
Oh, that was good.
The same combat mechanics.
They had the first Nemesis system, didn't they?
Which they haven't really used since. It's been trademarked, patented. It was going to be in that Wonder Woman game that got cancelled, but it's one of those things where they just haven't used it. So I don't know. I wouldn't say it was necessarily revolutionary, because it's like, it's not really changed anything. It's like we have this one idea and it's not gone anywhere, like outside of that one franchise. So I think you're right in the money with the Arkham games. I mean, I think it was the first time in modern gaming where superhero games were taken more seriously, and obviously that's led to the Spider-Man games, and that's led to like I said, the Guardians of the Galaxy game was really good, and it's led to obviously the Wolverine game coming out this year. So I think it has added a level of prestige to superhero video games for sure. Yeah.
Would you say Lego games as well? Because there's so many Lego games out now. Like Lego games.
I'm going to say
Lego brand.
I'd say Lego Star Wars has revolutionized Lego, but I wouldn't say that it's revolutionized the whole of the gaming industry.
I agree. No. It's done good for Lego, but it hasn't improved video games, I don't think. Okay.
I'm happy with my based opinion, Emily. Well, never mind. Not your opinion, so it doesn't matter.
Right, here's me. Another couple from me then. So I'm still thinking back to sort of like 16-bit era at the moment. Star Fox, early 3D graphics, of course, for consoles. Way ahead of its time, I would say. Would definitely be one on there. Would you say Legend of Zelda, the first one?
Yeah, I'd say so. Okay. It's basically like a more high-end version of like Adventure on the Atari, really, when you think about it. It's just kind of like similar sort of thing, but just better. Even though I don't like it, but that's not the conversation. But it definitely made an impact, 100%. Duck Hunt as well, because it was a huge game that everyone played on the NES, and it had the Zapper, which I'd argue if you didn't have things like the Zapper, I don't know if Nintendo would have ever made anything like the Wii. I think that had a massive impact on Nintendo's kind of. They've kind of always been seen as outside the box, like always doing weird.
The philosophy of trying new control methods and stuff. Yeah, it's always helped them, hasn't it?
Definitely.
Like Resident Evil.
In terms
of like horror game genre.
Well, what can I say about Resident Evil? I would say it wasn't the first to do what it did. We had Alone in the Dark beforehand. There was probably quite a few games where you had that like 2D pre-rendered background, and then you had your 3D models walking around on top of it. I don't know what would have been first to do that, but in terms of its genre, like survival horror, it was undoubtedly, the big breakaway hit in 96. Was it? Yeah, 1996.
The biggest survival horror game franchise that I know of, at least.
Yeah, and so many things have copied it.
Basically birthed survival horror. Yeah, I think if Halo is like the poster child of like a modern first-person shooter, I think Resident Evil's the poster child of like survival horror. I think you don't have it with one without the other. I think it's you can't deny the impact of Resident Evil. You wouldn't have Silent Hill, you wouldn't have Fatal Frame, you wouldn't have any of those sort of survival horrors if it wasn't for that at all.
And sticking with that same year, Tomb Raider. I'd put Tomb Raider as a game that's changed the world as well. Again, certainly not the first third-person walk around, shoot things, explore around, but it was executed so well. And so, without that, you wouldn't have things like Uncharted. You wouldn't have the modern, probably the Prince of Persia's, Ico, that kind of stuff. Jack's got one. Go on, Jack.
I was going to say,
Speaking of Prince of Persia, without Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, you wouldn't have got Assassin's Creed.
I can live without Assassin's Creed, but it's a valid point. It's a valid point. Go on, Mike. Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, to add to your point about Tomb Raider, would you argue? I know, obviously, you had like a Metroid, but I don't think to the same degree. Would you argue that Lara Croft was the first mainstream, like, well known across the world, like, female character in video games? Because I feel like there isn't anyone as big as Lara Croft until Lara Croft came out, or at least to my knowledge. I mean, maybe you have a different take.
Game characters who kind of transcend the games industry, where where regular people know about them. You've obviously got Mario, you've got Sonic. What would have been any bigger in the 90s than Lara Croft as a character that people would know the name of, other than other characters in the Mario franchise, maybe. But no, I think you're right. That's Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I mean, maybe like a Chun-Li, or like maybe, you know, like...
Yeah, your mum doesn't know who Chun-Li is, though, does she? Your mum
yeah.
doesn't know Chun-Li, but your mum would probably know who Lara Croft is.
I think in terms of a main female character in a video game, I don't think there was anyone as big as Lara Croft until Lara Croft came out. Like I said, I don't think most people... Even today, some people don't even know that Metroid is, you know, that Samus is a woman, you know, because of the whole suit thing. But though, whilst I'm on Metroid, I think Metroid was huge. I mean, Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, well, more specifically, Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, literally created a whole subgenre, which is Metroidvania. So that's a especially in the indie scene, that is huge. For the list. I mean, you've got like Guacamelee, and you've got like Hollow Knight and Ori and the Blind Forest and Will o' the Wisps. Like there are, and I'm sure there are I could probably think of another 20 indie games that use the part of the Metroidvania genre, but that's definitely one worth pointing out.
Well, good. Jack, mate.
I've been sort of whirling away while you guys have been talking.
Go on then. What you got for us?
In my brain, there's a few that come to mind. Demon Souls, because it sort of, and then Dark Souls, because it.
That was the first one.
Souls games. You've got Bloodborne, Lies of P. I'd argue the Jedi Survivor games are Soulsborne-esque. You know, like
I agree.
A lot of them have copied that.
The Last of Us, as like a story-first game, I feel like, as far as I know, there wasn't as big. I think that was the first big game that was probably story first, gameplay second.
I think it's the first story. I think it's the first story-based game that really hit the mainstream. Like I feel like the first time that people who played games were going to people who didn't play games and were saying, "You need to play this game because of the story." And
you get all the Sony first-party games. Like we get obviously the reboot of God of War. You've got the Tsushima games. You've got the sequel to Last of Us, and you've got Wolverine coming out. You know, the Spider-Man games as well. That sort of birthed this like Sony first-party game. And they're so big. I mean, that is what Sony market the PlayStation on now. I wouldn't have bought a PS4 if it wasn't for the amount of times, because I had an Xbox for a while, was the amount of times that I played through the first opening hour of Spider-Man PS4 before I started a shift at the cafe without that game.
Well, good. But the thing is as well that from that though, you've got obviously Naughty Dog. A Naughty Dog, they don't get the best, you know, they get a lot of bad press, don't they? But they do genuinely make some amazing games.
Oh, yeah, and I can't wait for the next one.
You know, once PS3 came along and we had that first Uncharted, and they went to that mold of interactive movie or whatever, however you want to name it or describe it, that formula has been absolutely fantastic, particularly for Sony first-party games, and they have replicated that for the last 20 years, and that's gone down really well, because I love those games. I love those games.
Well, even Crash Bandicoot could be argued was like the first proof that a 3D platformer could even stand a chance against like Mario and everything coming on Nintendo. And one thing I actually said in person to you guys, but I'll reiterate on the for the video. But like one thing they did in Crash, which was revolutionary, is they learnt how to load in stuff after the fact. So how games used to work before Crash Bandicoot was when you started a game, for the most part, it would load the entire map in. Not always, but a lot of the time, especially with 3D games. Like if you boot up Mario 64, when you go and bob on Battlefield, the whole map's loaded. But one thing that Crash revolutionized is, obviously now we know things like pop-in exist, but what it did was as you ran, it would delete the map behind you and like lay the rest of the map in front of you. So they learned how to more efficiently use space in video games in order to improve graphical fidelity and be able to put more on screen. So in that way, in a more technical sense, it did do a lot, especially for the PlayStation.
For sure. On the subject of 3D platformers, Mario 64 would have to absolutely be on a list of games that changed 100%. The world. I mean, that's been spoken about to death. Let's see what chat's got coming up. WV Wing Commander 3. I'm guessing you guys probably didn't play Wing Commander 3 back in the day, but it was I would say it was revolutionary in terms of its design. I mean, it was what, PS1, PS1 and PC. It starred Mark Hamill. Jack, you might like it actually. It's very much it's a very simple space shooter, but like you play the space shooter gameplay for about 2 minutes, and that is really bad. But then you get like a half an hour cutscene with Mark Hamill and Biff from Back to the Future, and it's like a full-on Babylon 5 kind of sized space saga. The Wing Commander series is really good. Unfortunately, while the tech of it was fantastic, I think the Wing Commander 3 came on like 4 CDs, I think, at the time, and there was games after that as well. But it was, but yeah, in terms of how it made games, I would say maybe not revolutionary, but it was certainly one of the trailblazers of the tech. Unfortunately, the game that was attached to it was a bit crap. I'm gonna suggest a new game in just a second here. Garbage Pail Kid loved the original Prince of Persia, which birthed awesome games such as Another World and Flashback. Yes, the slow-paced 2D strategy platformer. I love those games. Ms. Pac-Man was the original Lara Croft. It's a fair point. I'll take that. Oh god, yeah, Pac-Man, obviously. Pac-Man and Arcade Donkey Kong. We have to put those on the lists, don't we? Kisra doesn't get the comparisons between Jedi and Souls-likes. Basically, you lose your stuff and you have to go back and get it. That's basically it. That means that Kisra would actually really like Elden Ring. Kisra, you need to get Elden Ring. You'd really like it, I promise you. But what was I going to say? A game that revolutionised the world, I'm going to say Virtua Racing. The first 3D racing game. It would have been one of the first mass-produced 3D games at all, along with other Sega 3D things like Virtua Fighter, Virtua Cop. What else did they do? They did Virtua something else. But that early series of 3D arcade games from Sega, they were absolutely the pioneers on that shift from 2D to 3D in the early 90s, we're going to say about 92, 93, when they first started coming along. They were the first the Virtua Racing was the first racing game that had polygonal models, and then it was only like 1 year after that they then realised, hang on, we can put textures on these flat polygons, and then before you know it, you've got massively detailed 3D models, and it was just such a leap. So I'm putting Virtua Racing on my list. Yeah,
Mario Kart on the... Was it N64? Was that the first Mario Kart?
You'd have to say the SNES, wouldn't you? The first one. You'd have to say the first one.
Mario Kart as the karting genre.
Yeah.
That, you had Crash,
definitely.
Kart, so many Crash kart racing games, Sonic racing games. I think probably Mario Kart probably gave the the party racing game a home. If that makes sense.
You say Mario Party as well. Mario Party.
Mario Party as well.
Wow.
Yeah, that as you were talking about racing, I was just like, oh, Mario Kart. Like Smash Brothers as well, maybe.
I would say...
it's something that...
Has it revolutionised the industry, though? I mean, Smash...
No.
It's unique in the way that it brings so many franchises together. It's not unique in the fact that it's just a really good game that loads of people play. Has it changed the industry,
Grand Theft Auto 3?
GTA...
Grand Theft Auto 3 is definitely one.
Yeah, GTA 3 has to be. Yeah, without a doubt. That should have been one of the first ones we thought of, really, shouldn't it?
I do have a question, John, because this might be a contender. What would you say was the first open world driving game?
Oh God, no idea.
Like truly open, or at least one that
truly
you can
open
think of
world.
Kind of
you had
hit the mainstream.
Test Drive Unlimited, which was Xbox 360. So there must have been something on the original Xbox
what about,
or original PS2, probably.
Midnight Club? Was that not open world?
Midnight had like a large map, didn't it? That was sort of PS2
you got,
generation.
Need for Speed Underground and stuff like that.
I'm just trying to think if there was anything sort of on 32-bit formats before sort of PS2 and original Xbox. I can't really think of anything open world, or at least nothing that was good enough to have changed the world. At least I would say. Garbage Pail Kid remembers Megazone, The Laser Quest place on St Stephen's Road getting a Virtua Fighter cabinet. I think I actually played Daytona USA for the first time in that very place. Okay. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing must.
I was thinking
Animal Crossing must have popularized cozy, slower-paced games. Certainly, I don't know if it invented it, but it's. I would say by far and away, it's got to be the most popular game of its kind, hasn't it? Matty on Twitch. Oh, we've got a viewer on Twitch, everybody! Yeah. Driver. Driver must have inspired a lot of open world driving games. Good call. Good call. God, I haven't played a driver game for ages. Sorry, Jack, what were you saying, mate?
Oh no, I mentioned, like, I agree with Kiz, right? Animal Crossing came to mind, especially during COVID.
Yeah.
Due to like that, obviously, as we were talking about the Switch, you know, Animal Crossing, and like, I guess social aspect of it definitely.
I mean, you got Breath of the Wild as well, if you want to bring up the Switch. Like, I think there's a lot of games that have basically taken and ran with what Breath of the Wild did. Like, Elden Ring is a prime example of taking a lot of cues from that game. I think there was a lot of games that came out after Breath of the Wild that felt like they were trying to recapture that kind of obsession. And you got, like, the Assassin's Creed games, like Origins and Odyssey, were definitely trying to rip off The Witcher 3. So obviously The Witcher 3 isn't hugely inspirational, but it definitely inspired a few franchises. I think I definitely have one that I would like to go a little bit in depth with.
Go on then, Mike.
If you'll indulge me. That is Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1.
Ooh.
Now, I think Metal Gear Solid, is the first time where a director was like a superstar. Like, everyone, especially now, knows who Hideo Kojima is. And I think when you start Metal Gear Solid, you've got this like slow music build, and you've got the credits rolling, which I can't think of many examples where you'd have like an opening credits to a video game. And the way the cinematics moved, it was like a movie. And the voice acting was like impeccable. You know, voice acting at the time, you know, especially longer dialogue scenes, which weren't very prevalent at all around that sort of era. The dialogue was really good. I mean, you've got household names like Jennifer Hale, who is like voices like Female Shepherd, and she's in a lot of other things. She had a voice role in that, and there are, you know, you've got Cam Clark, who voices Leonardo in the 80s Turtles show, and obviously David Hayter, who's kind of made Snake who he is. And I think the way the cinematics move, and the way, and not only that, but you've got the way the game goes really meta. Like, to beat Psycho Mantis, how you have to change your controller port, and it reads your memory card, and he says, "I can read your mind," and he's been playing. You play Castlevania, don't you? And it's like there's so many ways where that first Metal Gear game really did a wonders for storytelling. Obviously, like Jack said, The Last of Us is like an example of exceptional storytelling in video games. But I would say, like, for me, I'd say the first Metal Gear Solid was the first time outside of RPGs, because I feel like they always had a very good standing on story. But outside of RPGs, I'd say Metal Gear Solid was the first time a story was genuinely brilliant. I don't think anything before it really captured that kind of writing and voice acting, or just cinematics. You know, it felt like there was actual cinematography in Metal Gear Solid.
I might have to give this a game. Play Metal Gear Solid. Actually, sound like.
Have you not played it, mate?
Metal Gear Solid, but I've never played them.
Have you got?
You got the collection, the HD collection.
Yeah, it'd be the best. It's the best modern way to play it. Have you've got surely you've got an Xbox 360, Jack?
No, I have PlayStation 5.
You can borrow it if you want, Jack. I got it on disc on the PlayStation 5.
Nice.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I might. Yeah,
I want to borrow the collection at some point. I know Cheney's playing through it at the minute, the first one.
Yep.
Well, hopefully. I think he's got a lot of setting up to do with his man cave, but yeah, I could go on forever about the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Absolutely love them to death.
Garbage Pail Kid is a fan of Kojima. Did any of you get to play Stalker on, they think, the Mega CD, one of Kojima's earlier games? I must admit, I don't think I did. What am I thinking? I'm thinking of Strider, not Stalker. That's a totally different game. Good game though.
This has just popped up on my PlayStation app.
What has?
Did that Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah, that's incredible game.
Did many people do much with the way Shadow of the Colossus works? Because I know everybody talks about it.
I would say Shadow of the Colossus.
I wouldn't say so.
It's unique, and very few games have emulated it, because it is such a unique game. Have you played it before, Jack?
I think I played it a little bit at the cafe.
You'd have definitely seen it at the cafe. It was really popular.
Yeah, it was really popular.
I don't think it changed the world, unfortunately. I wish it did. But in terms of a game that tells a story through its gameplay, it's definitely one of the best of its kind at that particular task, I would say. Well worth playing. I'm pretty sure it must be on PS Plus. It must be in the PS Plus library, surely.
I have it.
Oh, you have? Oh, man. Add it to your list then, Jack. Add it to your list. Garbage Pail Kid also likes Strider. Brilliant. Surprised they never released that in the way that they have Night Trap. Yeah, how did Night Trap get a re-release? That's ridiculous. Okay.
So something funny that hit my head. A game that has changed gaming.
Yeah.
GTA 5's many releases then caused other games to put out many releases.
Yeah. Yeah, just the whole remake thing and how it's done that. I've got two more. I've got two more for you. So I'm conscious of time. Two more to go, and this is my Jack moment for the stream. I'm going to say the original Gran Turismo on the PS1, because it was the first driving game that really brought together. I mean, Need for Speed did it first, but Gran Turismo was the first game that really brought together real car brands and real tracks, rather than just a selection of supercars, or like sort of cherry-picked cars that Need for Speed did. Gran Turismo aimed to bring like road cars into games, and it used real world tracks as much as it did created fantasy tracks, and obviously that's gone from strength to strength and remains to this day Sony's best selling franchise. Skyrim, says Kisra. What do we think?
Skyrim.
I mean, it was way more popular. It was way more popular than Oblivion. I mean, it didn't invent it, because it didn't really do much different than what Morrowind did like 10 years before.
Well, yeah,
I think Morrowind is.
Morrowind.
Morrowind is probably more revolutionary, but I think Skyrim. I know I'm definitely in this camp. It was revolutionary in the way it opened like RPGs to the mainstream, like in a bigger way. Like people who would just play Call of Duty or just play, pick your genre, played Skyrim. Like it was massive. Like I think I have a quick question for John, just because John's more likely to know than me. But would you say the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater was revolutionary for how it created this whole wave of not only extreme sports games, but also, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the first game I can think of that really incorporated licensed music in a big way, because before that it was a lot of sort of original music created for the game.
I mean, there's plenty of games that would have used licensed music. For example, Rock and Roll Racing from 1992. But it was, probably it would have been one of the first. And it was just, I think the thing with Tony Hawk's is that it wasn't just a good video game. It genuinely made skateboarding appeal to the masses more, didn't it? It wasn't just a game for people who like skateboarding. It made me buy a skateboard when I was 22, and I had to take my skateboard. I used to work night shifts. Slight tangent here. I used to work night shifts at a supermarket. I love Tony Hawk so much that I spent £200 on like a professional grade skateboard, but as I have no coordination whatsoever, I was too embarrassed to do it, to learn how to skateboard. So when I worked night shifts, if I had a night off, I would go to the train station car park to try and learn how to ride a skateboard. I managed to do one kickflip, and it hurt too much with all the times that I fell off. So my skateboarding career didn't last long, and I now stick to video games. Is your answer. Kisra was actually talking about Skyrim as being one of the games that made popular re-releases, not necessarily just for being one of the best games ever made. Flubster, a good call on the soundtracks. Wipeout, obviously, we had the Prodigy in there. What else did they have in Wipeout? Chemical Brothers as well. They were huge. Wipeout probably, you could say, would be one of the games that changed the industry, at least certainly in Europe. Because if it wasn't for Wipeout, I don't think the marketing of the PS1 would have been anywhere close to the level that it was at. So yeah, I'm going to put Wipeout on that list. And my other game that I was going to suggest, apart from Gran Turismo, World of Warcraft.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, 100%.
100%. I mean, the MMORPG genre blew up after WoW. You had I listen, League of Legends came after WoW as well, and like Diablo. I mean, Destiny. They marketed it as an MMO. It's not that big of an MMO.
An underrated pick that inspired an underrated pick that definitely inspired Destiny, I'd say, was Borderlands. I know people don't give that game enough credit, but it created the whole looter shooter genre. Like the whole idea of like,
I definitely agree with that.
The idea of like killing enemies and getting random weapon drops and things like that was definitely I mean, kind of like Destiny was marketed as Halo meets Borderlands, but online was kind of like the pitch for it for a lot of people. So I think it's definitely worth bringing. I'd be amiss if I didn't say Street Fighter 2. Because that game, I'd say that's like the holy grail of fighting games in terms of like that's the king of the castle that everything has tried to sort of emulate. You know, I'm not a big fighting game person myself, but I think you can't. We talk about re-releases. How many different versions of Street Fighter 2 were there? Turbo.
They're still releasing versions of Street Fighter 2 today. So yeah, it's mad. It's absolutely mad.
Street Fighter 2 at Retro Replay all the time. You're really good at it.
Right, do we have any last suggestions before we close the topic off for the week? Or have we exhausted our thoughts?
I think we've covered
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero. You've got the Virtual Boy just in general. If you talk about like
what
VR and how that's kind of like no, like think about like the first. I know it's like, oh yeah, the Virtual Boy sucks, and like yeah, it does, but like it was like the first proper like mainstream console VR headset. So like you can't deny.
It wasn't a headset. You had to stick it on a bloody table. I had one.
It's close enough.
It was.
I mean,
awful.
there's plenty of peripherals that you could say like
gaming innovations. The Kinect that tanked like
no. The Kinect doesn't go on any best of lists ever.
No,
ever at all.
It wasn't the best of it. It was like revolutionary for bad or worse, and then or just change gaming. The Kinect made that type of game thing crap, because you had the iToy on the PlayStation 2, which I used to play a lot.
You know what? Actually, the motion sensing that it did probably was quite revolutionary at the time, and did probably advance the accuracy in terms of like a camera-based motion. So there is that, I suppose.
It just didn't have the library of the Wii, so it never caught on. Like the Wii just had a far superior library of games, and I don't think. I know they tried to. The Kinect died when they said you have to have it always on in order to play the Xbox One. After that, everyone was like completely binned it off, and the Xbox One in general
did.
What about the Game Boy, just in general? Like in terms of handheld like consoles, I think the Game Boy was huge. I mean, Tetris, obviously. We've obviously mentioned Pokemon, but I think the Game Gear wasn't quite the success, mostly because it was too expensive and didn't have very good battery. But like you got to give the Game Boy in general its flowers, and plenty of games on it for basically making handheld gaming a mainstay. I don't think you definitely wouldn't have the Switch or any handheld console if it wasn't for the overwhelming success of the Game Boy.
Absolutely. Speaking of, just thinking of type of time now. But you guys have seen the Tetris movie, right?
I want to. It looks really good.
It's so good.
I know of it. I haven't seen it. I've seen trailers and clips and
stuff. It's way better than any movie based on Tetris ever deserves to be. Mr. Game & Watch. That's a very good suggestion. But Mr. Game & Watch, what about, you mean just Game & Watch in general? That would have obviously been the precursor to the Game Boy, of course. In fact, you know what? My first ever video game I ever played was a Game & Watch. It was a game called...
Yeah, I wish there was some sort of short on YouTube where you've said that before, John.
Oh, is there? Oh, well. Mate, I don't even remember doing that, Mike. Oh, yeah, it was. It was literally from the cafe. We did it like a few weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, Manhole. That was my first game. Then I had a whole bunch of like Tomy retro thingamybobs. Speaking of, actually, right. Sorry about this. Hang on a second. I'm going on talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
I don't think of any others, Mike. It's just there's so many different things over different eras that have changed gaming. I mean, gaming right now, it's in such a... I think for me, it's in a weird position where I'm playing more of the older stuff because the newer stuff, because it's used all of what came before it, there's no originality now as much as there could be. And I think that's probably because everybody's following the Fortnite or the FIFA formula, because it does work, and like nobody's doing anything too like new or.
Well, Overwatch revolutionised killing a game by going.
Overwatch revolutionised average games.
Overwatch revolutionised creating skins that people bought because they wanted to bang the characters. That's what Overwatch revolutionised. That's basically it. Like Overwatch is.
I think you'll find Overwatch, that was actually Tomb Raider 2 that did that when they gave Lara new thingies. But anyway, sorry, go on, Mike. Yeah, finish.
5v5 shooters, like basically stuff like Marvel Rivals. There are so many games that are derivative of Overwatch, so like it had its time in the sun. I mean, it won Game of the Year, I'm pretty sure, the year it came out, which is crazy to think. But yeah, I think Overwatch is one of those things that like it made waves, and then everybody has taken, including Activision Blizzard themselves, who made Overwatch 2 as well, have taken all the wrong lessons from Overwatch. So they've kind of it's one of those games. It's like it did a lot of good, but everybody since has only taken the bad stuff and made that a bigger deal.
Marvel Rivals is great.
The same with Fortnite. Yeah, Marvel Rivals is definitely doing well, but it kind of feels like the exception. A lot of the other companies have done just terrible things.
Concord.
Anyway, John.
I mean, the moment's kind of gone now, but I was in the loft. I was in the loft a couple of days ago, and I found my old Tomy Alien Attack. It hasn't got the batteries because it needs you need 4 bloody of the C batteries to make it work. But I'll need to get a power supply. But this was one of the first video games that I ever owned. Was this?
That's a video game?
Yes, Jack. It's what we had before consoles, my friend. But you could move up and down and fire. That was literally it.
Wow.
But
I'm showing my age here, aren't I?
Bloody brilliant that was. Anyway, okay. We need to think about time. So, Mike, was there a survey in our Discord this week?
There was. I asked people. I put one on YouTube as well. I asked people what the best retro kart racer is. So there was a lot of votes. First time I've actually done a poll on YouTube and Discord where the results have actually been different, which is interesting. So in the Discord, people voted the best retro kart racer being Crash Team Racing.
Oh, wow.
And on YouTube, it was Mario Kart 64, because that's the one everybody's heard of, so they vote for it, even though it's actually arse. But we don't need to talk about that.
I think the audience is older on YouTube.
I think there was a good moment I thought I'd take advantage of the brand synergy, because for those who don't know, last week there was a video that I made that was comparing it was a head-to-head matchup of Mario Kart 64, Diddy Kong Racing, and Crash Team Racing. So it's very in depth, it's funny, apparently. It's one that I put a lot of time into. I'd consider it to be really well edited. So it's definitely one to check out. You won't waste your time with it.
Well, good. Cool. And do we have a new poll on the way?
At some point, when I think of one to do.
At some point, I didn't mean to put you on the spot if it wasn't ready.
No, that's all right. But yeah, we'll watch out for the Discord and the YouTubes and all that, because there will definitely be a poll up that you'll be able to vote for, and we will discuss it on the show next week.
Excellent. Right, what else have we got coming up? Well, we've got February's OLL community meet is going to be on Friday, the 6th of February, which is 10 days away. So if you would like to come and see us and the OLL community, all you lovely people in the chat, if you are local, come on down to Albion Games Cafe at 21 St Benedict Street in Norwich, where we'll be basically just chilling out and talking about games. We might even play some games. We get discounted screen hire as well for the evening, and we also use the evening for asking our community some questions for our YouTube shorts as well. And we had some really good stuff come out from last month, which has given us daily content for the month of January, which has been fantastic. So thank you very much for anybody who came to the last one. The next one, as I say, 10 days away on February the 6th. And then, of course, there's the thing that actually keeps the lights on at OLL, and that is our conventions. And, of course, we have our big main event coming up this year on April the 11th at Epic Studios here in Norwich, where we have our special guest Dominic Diamond, who is going to be hosting an evening showcase alongside a whole day of gameplay and tournaments. You can get your tickets at the link that is now appearing in the chat. Super VIP tickets are long gone now, but you can still buy the daytime, evening and all-day tickets. Click on that link and you can see the full description for the event and all of the information that you need. Woohoo! Woo. That's it. That's all the plugs that I've got, really. I would love to describe more, but I'm going to wait until we've got a new video, because there is going to be a promotional video coming out within the next, where are we now? Monday. Hopefully by the end of this week, if not within a week or so, which I think is going to excite a lot of people, shall we say. Anyway, right. That's it. That's me plugs. That's me plugs done. Does anyone else have any last minute suggestions for games that change the world? No, we're there. We've done them all. Okay. Right. Well, that's pretty much it. Cheers, chat. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for joining in and giving us your suggestions. If you would like to come and continue the conversation, you can do so on our Discord. Let's put that in the chat as well. So if you want to come and tell us what games you think changed the world, or indeed the games that changed your world, we want to hear about it. We have a community content tab in our Discord. We also have general chat, retro chat, modern chat, all the various topics that you would like to discuss, as well as some non-gaming elements as well. Come and join us, come and say hello, keep us all entertained. Let us entertain you as well throughout the week between shows and between all of our content. If you are not yet already, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, so that you can find our future videos. We generally have stuff coming out, if not every day, then generally every other day. But we're almost up to pretty much a daily schedule of shorts now, aren't we, Mike?
Yeah.
We're pretty much on that, aren't we now?
More or less. We're every day for the past 2 weeks, I think. Maybe week and a half.
We're actually getting there. And, we've banked it. We've banked the content.
I've been trying to release 2 long form videos a week. So there's long form videos currently from me. I know John's got some irons in the fire.
Yeah.
And I've also got the Final Fantasy VII Let's Plays, which are edited by Jack. So we have at least 2 long form videos a week. We've also got the OLL streams every Monday, and John is also streaming Final Fantasy VII, New Threat, the mods that basically overhaul the entire game, the combat, the graphics, the music, the whole shebang. So there's plenty to look forward to. I am working on some long form videos. It's taken me a while because I'm quite meticulous with with the quality. I really want it to make the best possible content I can make for you guys. But I've got a few things that I can that already sort of made that I can release for the time being. But yeah, I appreciate every single person who's watched any of the videos that I've made that have gone on the channel, who have supported them, because I've
very good, Mike.
Yeah, I put a lot.
Mike's videos are awesome. I love them. They're really good.
A lot of effort into them.
They are really good.
Cool. So yes, as Mike was saying, I will be back. The next OLL live stream will be Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. as I play Final Fantasy. I will also be streaming on Friday this week. But if you can't get enough of me, I don't know why you would want to, but I will also be streaming on my personal racing game channel as well at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I do that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings from 11. There's a link in the Discord for anyone who's interested in that. But I think that's it. We have exhausted ourselves for tonight, and that is now the end of the show. So thank you so much to the chat for joining. Whether you have watched live or whether you are watching on demand, thank you so much for taking the time to spend some time with us today. Thank you very much to Jack for joining us tonight. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
And Mike as well. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you very much, everyone.
And we'll see you all soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.